Hello, and welcome to my story about the day I learned I'm still a large child. So, just about everybody knows that feeling of breaking something or doing something as a kid that you knew your mom was going to yell at you for. Of course, we all do. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're lucky. But once we become adults and can make our own decisions, you never have to feel that internal dread again, right? Wrong. I learned firsthand that you can still feel the same amount of dread, and I learned for the most ridiculous of reasons. You see, my housemate that my husband and I rent a room from has a 4-year-old son, and while birthday shopping for him at Walmart, I talked myself into buying a giant bucket of black, fluffy slime. Please note the importance of the color for what I'm going to tell you. So, as soon as I came home from my trip birthday shopping, of course, I was super excited to play with it. That's all I wanted to do. So I sat here at this desk and I played with my slime until my cat decided that he wanted to jump up into my lap. And this is where my reflexes failed me. Because instead of lifting my hands up or away from me in any way, I turned and I hit the wall with my slime. This is where that troubling internal dread began to rise within me as I started to imagine the yelling and that incredibly scary mom face that just says you messed up and are in huge trouble. You know, the face that every mom has and is seemingly gifted with the moment they have a child? That one. My mind started racing through how I would explain what happened and that it was an accident and a million ways to fix it, except for a couple of problems. One, I had no idea how to get slime off of the wall, and two, I'm a giant coward. So, I immediately threw a Grateful Dead poster over the spot where the stain was instead of saying anything to anyone, and began Googling every solution I could possibly find from the 12-year-olds who love slime on the internet. And I found that Lysol all-purpose spray will take slime off of the wall. Now, what Google didn't tell me is that Lysol spray will take the slime off of your wall, but it will also take the paint off of your wall as well. So, here begins my week-long journey of trying to secretly fix my mess up on the wall. Both of my housemates go to work before I do, so I have a lot of time between when they leave and when I have to leave in the morning to kind of putz around and do whatever. And luckily at this point, my husband was out to sea for a couple of weeks, so I had a little bit of time to do it, fix it all. So, on day one of trying to fix my incredibly childish mess, I ran around the house trying to see if we had anything. I figured out that the Lysol spray will take off the slime, but also the paint, and I found paint in our garage. I got so incredibly lucky. My housemate had paint in our garage. But we didn't have any paintbrushes, so this left me with not really anywhere to go on day one. So after work, I went to Walmart and grabbed a paint bucket opener and a brand new paintbrush so that I could then come home and fix it. But everyone was already home when I got home. And due to some schedule changes in everyone else's work schedule, 3 days went by because I couldn't get time in the house alone. And this brings us to almost a week of trying to fix this, and now on day 5, the day I was supposed to go drive to the Navy base and pick up my husband from the ship. I had to quickly finish my attempt to fix it. However, his desk was right below the spot I needed to paint. And me being me, I didn't think anything about what if I accidentally spill paint on his favorite game mat that sits on his desk. Oh yes. I got the wrong color paint on his mat because I couldn't tell the difference between the off-white and white paint cans when I was in the garage, and got all the way to my room and opened the paint can before realizing it was the wrong one. So at this point, I had less than an hour before I was supposed to leave, and now had to go back to the garage to get the right paint can, paint the wall, and hope that I could get the paint out of his mat. Luckily, I was successful. I left a little later than I wanted to, but I was successful in fixing my mess without a single person knowing what happened. Almost. Because I did get paint on the mat. I had to quickly figure out how to wash it and get paint off, but it was in our bathroom hanging on the shower drying, so I had to explain to my husband what happened, who is the one who pointed out how much of a giant child I am. And this is my embarrassing slime story. Thank you all for listening.